So, did you guys enjoy my intro? I'm not that much of a person that makes video essays about games that I enjoy to the fullest, but Hollow Knight is a game that after spending a hefty amount of time on it, going to the final stage, defeating the final boss, and even though it was supposed to be released on June 12th, keep in mind Xbox said this and not Team Cherry. And then Matthew Griffin, who is the marketer and the publisher for Hollow Knight, makes a tweet saying, "Hey gang, just a quick update about Silksong. We had planned to release it in the first half of 2023, but development is still continuing. We're excited by how the game is shaping up and it's gotten quite big, so we want to take the time to make the game as good as we can. Expect more details from us once we get closer to release." And then after doing my research about the whole starting of Hollow Knight, like the concept, the idea, or where did this idea came from, like before it got its rise to fame, this concept was dated back to 2013. Then they released a teaser for the game in 2014. Then they released a trailer 3 days after the teaser. And then nearly 3 years after the trailer, they released a release trailer. They might as well just push back the release date to next year, being said that development is still going for Hollow Knight Silksong. And to be fair, I want a well-rendered, polished game than a glitchy game that still needs development to be fully released. Now, this may sound like a bit confusing with these topics being added to the Hollow Knight video essay that I said in the trailer that I released on my YouTube channel, but this is basically a video of me talking about how great Hollow Knight has been to me, how much of an impact this has been, not just for me, but to the people that enjoyed it while I was streaming this on my YouTube channel, what I learned about the development before Hollow Knight got its rise to fame, and how many copies it got sold, the amount of people that enjoy it, the amount of well-received views while this game was released, and including the DLCs that have been added into this game. Hollow Knight was created by a small gaming development studio in Australia going by the name of Team Cherry. And Hollow Knight is a 2017 Metroidvania video game developed and published by independent developer Team Cherry. In the game, the player controls the Knight, a nameless insectoid warrior, who explores Hollow Nest, a fallen kingdom plagued by a supernatural disease known as the Infection. The game set in diverse subterranean locations featuring friendly and hostile insectoid characters and numerous bosses. Players have the opportunity to unlock new abilities as they explore each location, along with pieces of lore and flavor text that are spread throughout the kingdom. The developers and publishers of this game were made by Team Cherry. The designers were made by Ari Gibson and William Pellin. The programmers were made by William Pellin and David Kazi. The artists were made by Ari Gibson. The composers of this game were made by Christopher Larkin. The engine they used for this game was Unity, and the platforms that this game is released on is Windows, Linux, Mac OS, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. It was first released on Windows when it started out on February 24, 2017. It was then released on Linux and Mac OS on April 11, 2017. Then it was released on Nintendo Switch on June 12, 2018, and then it was released on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on September 25, 2018. The concept behind Hollow Knight was conceived in 2013 in the London Dare Game Jam. Team Cherry wanted to create a game inspired by older platforms that replicated the explorational aspects of its influences. Inspirational aspects for the game include Faxanadu, Metroid, Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, and Mega Man X. Development was partially funded through a Kickstarter crowdfunding campaign that raised over 57,000 Australian dollars by the end of 2014. It was released for Windows, Linux, and Mac OS in early 2017, and for the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One in 2018. After release, Team Cherry supported the game with 4 free expansions. Hollow Knight was well received by critics with particular praise for its music, art style, world building, atmosphere, combat, and level of difficulty. By December 2020, the game had sold 3 million copies. A sequel, Hollow Knight Silksong, is currently in development. The idea that prompted the creation of Hollow Knight originated in a game jam London Dare 2013, in which 2 of the game's developers, Ari Gibson and William Pellin, developed a game called Hungry Knight, in which the character that would later become the Knight kills bugs to stave off starvation. The game, considered not very good, it used to hold a 1 out of 5 star rating on Newgrounds, but has since increased to 4 out of 5. The developers decided to work on another game jam with the entire theme beneath the surface, but missed the deadline. However, the concept gave them the idea to create a game with an underground setting, a deep old kingdom, and insect creatures. Influences for the game include Faxanadu, Metroid, Zelda 2, and Mega Man X. Team Cherry noted that Hollowness was in some ways the inverse of the world tree setting in Faxanadu. The team also noted that they wanted to replicate the sense of wonder and discovery of games from their childhood from such games in which, quote, there could be any crazy secret or weird creature. Believing that control of the character was most important for the player's enjoyment of the game, the developers based the Hollow Knight's movement on Mega Man X. They gave the character no acceleration when moving horizontally, as well as a large amount of aerial control and the ability to interrupt one's jump with a dash. This was meant to make the player feel that any hit they took could have been avoided right up until the last second. To create the game's art, Gibson's hand-drawn sketches were scanned directly into the game engine, creating a, quote, vivid sense of place. The developers decided to, quote, keep it simple in order to prevent the development time from becoming extremely protracted. The complexity of the world was based on Metroid, which allows players to become disoriented and lost. Focusing on the enjoyment of finding one's way, only basic signs are placed throughout the world to direct players to important locations. The largest design challenge for the game was creating the mapping system and finding a balance between not divulging the world's secrets while not being two-player unfriendly. Hollow Knight was revealed on Kickstarter in November 2014, seeking a modest sum of 35,000 Australian dollars. The game passed this goal, raising more than 57,000 Australian dollars from 2,158 backers, allowing its scope to be expanded and another developer to be hired, technical director David Kazi, as well as composer Christopher Larkin. The game reached a beta state in September 2015 and continued to achieve numerous stretch goals to add in more content after an engine switch from Stencil to Unity. A sequel to Hollow Knight, titled Hollow Knight Silksong, is in development by Team Cherry as of February 2019 and is set to be released on Windows, macOS, Linux, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S. Sequel revolve around the character Hornet exploring the kingdom of Farloom. Game demos of Hollow Knight Silksong demonstrate similar combat styles to the original game, but with several gameplay differences. The player character Hornet is more mobile than the knight and uses tools instead of charms. The game was announced in February 2019 but has not yet received a release date. Team Cherry had previously planned this game as a piece of downloadable content for its predecessor, but decided to market it as an individual title as its content grew too large. Well, now you learn something new every day. Hollow Knight's PC and PlayStation 4 versions received general favorable reviews, and the Nintendo Switch version received universal acclaim, according to reviewer McGregor website Metacritic. Jet Whittaker of Destructoid praised it as a masterpiece of gaming, and on PC Gamer, Tom Marks called it a new classic. IGN praised Hollow Knight's visuals, sound, music, and 1 million other details in building atmosphere. Critics recognized the combat system as simple and nuanced. They praised its responsiveness or tightness, similarity to the movement system. On IGN, Marks stated the combat in Hollow Knight is relatively straightforward, but starts out tricky. It rewards patience and skill massively. In his review on PC Gamer, Marks praised the brilliant charm system. What's so impressive about these charms is that I could never find a right answer when equipping them. There were no wrong choices. Adam Abu Nasser from Nintendo World Report stated charms offer a huge variety of upgrades. Removing them felt like trading a part of myself for a better chance at an upcoming battle. The difficulty of Hollow Knight received attention from reviewers and was described as challenging. Vicky Blake of Eurogamer called the game ruthlessly tough, even occasionally unfair. For Nintendo World Report's Adam Abu Nasser, it also seemed unfair. He had, quote, so frustratingly hard that I cannot recommend this game, angrily crawled in his notes. But it eventually clicked. Whittaker never found any of the bosses to be unfair. Destructoid and Nintendo World Report reviewers felt a sense of accomplishment after difficult fights. Critics also made comparisons to the Dark Souls series, noting the mechanic of losing currency on death and having to defeat a shade to regain it. Destructoid praised this feature as well as the holding down of a button to heal, because, quote, they circumvent a couple of issues games have always had, namely appropriate punishment for falling and a risk-reward system. Hollow Knight has sold over 500,000 copies by November 2017 and surpassed 1 million in sales on PC platforms on 11 June 2018, one day before releasing on Nintendo Switch, where it had sold over 250 copies in the 2 weeks after its launch. By July 2018, it had sold over 1,250,000 copies. By February 2019, Hollow Knight has sold over 2.8 million copies. The game was nominated for Best PC Game in Destructoid's Game of the Year Awards 2017 and for Best Platformer in IGN's Best of 2017 Awards. It won the award for Best Platformer in PC Gamer's 2017 Game of the the Year awards, Polygon later named the game among the decade's best. And here are the nominations and awards that Hollow Knight won from 2017 to 2019. It got nominated for Gamer's Voice Single Player on SXSW Gamer's Voice Awards in 2017. It got nominated for the Game Awards in 2017 for Best Debut Indie Game. It won for Best Sound for Interactive Media in the Australian Screen Sound Guild in 2017. It got nominated for Best Debut on the Game Developers Choice Awards. In 2018, it got nominated for Debut Game on the 14th British Academy Games Awards. It got nominated for Nintendo Game of the Year on the Golden Joystick Awards. It got 2 awards from the Australian Games Awards for Independent Game of the Year and Australian Developed Game of the Year. In 2019, for the National Academy of Video Game Trade Reviewers Awards, it got nominated for Art Direction and Fantasy, Character Design, and won for Design and New IP. And it got nominated for Game and Original Action. Right after reading the entire Wikipedia of Hollow Knight, just learning about the before and after and the awards that it won, the amount of attraction and attention it got, I learned a lot of new things just from reading this as of me recording this video. And then after contributing to this project for 4 years and getting well-received reviews, getting nominations, awards, and being released to different consoles and devices where people can enjoy this game on a different console or device, and where new people can become fans of this game and enjoy it for themselves as well. So now that we're done talking about Hollow Knight, let's talk about Hollow Knight Silksong. Hollow Knight Silksong, become the Princess Knight. As the lethal hunter Hornet, explore an ancient kingdom of insects haunted by silk and song. Captured and brought to this unfamiliar land, you must battle foes and solve mysteries as you ascend on a deadly pilgrimage to the kingdom's peak. Hollow Knight Silksong is the epic sequel to Hollow Knight, the award-winning action adventure. Journey to all new lands, discover new powers, and uncover ancient secrets tied to your nature and your past. Coming soon. When? So the designers of Hollow Knight Silksong are still Ari Gibson and William Pellin, and a new person has joined the team going by the name of Jack Vine as the programmer. Ari Gibson is still the artist, the composer is still Christopher Larkin, the engine is still being used by Unity, and the platforms of Hollow Knight Silksong is going to be released on Linux, Mac OS, Microsoft Windows, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and Xbox Series S. Jesus! Hollow Knight Silksong was announced on 14 February 2019 in a trailer and with a developer diary video sharing more information about the game. Since announcement, per GameStop, updates have been sporadic and infrequent. Originally, Hornet was planned as a second playable character to be included in a downloadable content DLC pack for Hollow Knight, funded as a stretch goal in the game's Kickstarter campaign. Eventually, due to the increased scope of the project, Team Cherry decided to expand the DLC to a full sequel. While in the process, Team Cherry revealed some of the character animations for Hornet and Steel Assassin Sharp, a villain from the game. The developers released an update about the game in March 2019, sharing descriptions and images of characters who will appear in Silksong. They thanked the game's fans for supporting them regarding the announcement of the sequel. In December 2019, Team Cherry released a preview of the game's soundtrack composed by Christopher Larkin, as well as an update on the total number of enemies developed with a focus on a trio described as members of a scholarly swipe. An article in PC Gamer from February 2022 showcased Team Cherry co-director William Pellin stating that the game was still in development despite the lack of updates since December 2019, and said that more details would be revealed as the game got closer to its release. A new trailer for the game was revealed at the Xbox and Bethesda Games Showcase in June 2022, revealing that the game would be released on Xbox Game Pass at launch, with the game being available through the service for PC and Xbox Series X and S. While no release date was announced, the Xbox Twitter account stated in a tweet that the game would be available within the next 12 months, implying they expected a release by 12 June 2023. Team Cherry marketing and publishing representative Matthew Griffin declared on 10 May 2023, while the tweet was sent on May 9, 2023, but I guess the time zone for Wikipedia is a bit different, that the game was again delayed, stating we had plans to release in the first half of 2023, but development is still continuing. In September 2022, Sony confirmed in a tweet that the game would also come to PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. And one of the playtesters, go by the name of Craig, shared an update in February of this year. Non-troll Craig, I feel for all of you. I really want this game to release ASAP, and we testers are working hard to get it out to you, as well as Team Cherry, of course. It will come, and it is a glorious game worth the wait. Love you all. Expect more details from us once we get closer to release. And I'm pretty sure you guys are aware of the Hollow Knight legends like Fireborn, Mossbag, Wind Dead, and Point Crow. I guess. When I first discovered Fireborn, he was talking about a game that was a pretty lazy copy to Hollow Knight called Lotus Knight that was on Steam, and how it copied the mechanics and the different sprites and some of the parts of the textures of that game that's kind of similar to Hollow Knight. And for Mossbag, when I first discovered him, is when he was talking about the almost complete lore of Hollow Knight. And what's funny is that Team Cherry didn't even know what the lore was for Hollow Knight, so they just watched Mossbag break it down for them, which I think is pretty funny. But when there was when I was trying to find some help to do the flower quest the right way and in a way where it's okay to do it and not to get myself hit, because when you get hit to do the flower quest, you lose the flower. Then you got to go back to the Grey Mourner and resting grounds. You got to do the whole trip again. You got to take that to Queen's Gardens, and it was just a pain for me to do, like from start to finish. For Point Crow is when he was modding Hollow Knight to make the game funner and what is the quickest way to beat the game, a freaking speed run. In a YouTube short that was in a clip of one of his Twitch streams when he was playing Hollow Knight, he responded to one of his viewers of asking why does he not want to beat Hollow Knight, and he said that he doesn't want to beat Hollow Knight now because he wants to gain a lot more fun of playing Hollow Knight, and then he doesn't want to beat the game and wait for Silksong to come out because it'll just die out the hype. I mean, according to him. And I understand that because you want to beat this game, but it's just that you don't want the hype or the fun to die down after waiting for an X amount of time for a sequel to come out, and then all that hype is just gonna go down and drain away. I understand what he was trying to say, in other words. So when I first got Hollow Knight, keep in mind this is the DLC copy, Hollow Knight Voidheart Edition, that's on the PlayStation, PS4 and PS5 I should say. And mind you, I didn't get this game, alright? My little brother got this game in a PlayStation Plus subscription, and he got this game since it has a PlayStation Plus subscription. He thought it'd be okay to play it and see if he'll have any fun playing it. I started playing this game back in August of last year, alright? And I took my time with playing Hollow Knight from going to start to finish. And when I got to the final part, going to the final boss, and I just wanted to get the true ending instead of the different ending. Although, yeah, it could have been cool if I just gotten some of the endings and then I get the final ending. I just wanted to end the gameplay with an ending that it should have ended from start to finish. When I started playing the game, my little brother told me that there's gonna be some emotional moments and some sad moments in the game, and then I was ready for it. But the funny part is that I cried during the grubs that were pleading to be let out, and the only reason why is because it sounded like my dogs needing for help. And yeah, I legit teared up on the non-emotional part. I sound pretty stupid when I say it. There were some good moments, there were some wholesome moments, there were some infuriating moments that made me want to break my controller. There were some emotional moments, there were sad moments, there was moments that I want to cry but I didn't have the emotion there. And yeah, it just felt like an entire journey from playing this game from start to finish. I mean, I'm just a fan of RPGs. I played Uncharted 4: A Thief's End, which was the game that came in with the PS4 that I got for Christmas. I played the 2016 release of Ratchet & Clank on the PS4. I'm still playing Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. I played Deltarune Chapter 1, Chapter 2. I played Hollow Knight. I played Stray, just to name a few. And don't get me wrong, AAA games are good. I know I put some indie games in there in the list of RPG games that I played and already beaten. I mean, I'm currently waiting for the pre-order release date for Spider-Man 2 after I've been waiting since December of 2021, I think, for this game to come out. Everybody been hyping this game up. And since I'm a fan of Spider-Man, and since Spider-Man is like the first superhero that I liked when I was a kid, this game is gonna be good. I mean, let alone you got Peter Parker and Miles Morales, and you even got Venom, Craven, the Prowler. It's about to go down, game of the year. Let me chill out. I've made memories playing this game, and I've gained a lot of support from my channel playing this game since August of last year, and I finished this in May. And I've counted all of the views, the likes, and the subscribers that I've gained playing this game and making this a series on my channel. I've gained a total of 1,736 views, 149 likes, and 4 subscribers when I played this game on my channel. And then when I got to the final boss and I saw the ending cutscene, it was bittersweet. Bitter because I ended the series, and sweet because I finished the game after playing it for such a long time. And then when I got to the final boss, I am not gonna lie, I was pretty skeptical and pretty scared because I knew that this is gonna be the final time of me playing the game. And I wanted to end the gameplay by getting the true ending just to finish off this entire series. And yeah, it was a bit bittersweet, like I said, because it was bitter because the series ended, but it was sweet because I finally beat a game after playing for so long. But in order to get the true ending, you have to get the Void Heart. And in order to get the Void Heart, you need to get this charm called the King Soul. And the only way to get the King Soul is that you have to go to Queen's Gardens to fight off this big mantis guy. And then you gotta go to the White Palace by dream nailing the Fallen Knight in Ancient Bassin, the pathway to Ancient Bassin. But your dream nail has to get 1800 essence to do so. Then you gotta go through this whole Super Mario Maker of a freaking obstacle course. It's like playing American Ninja Warrior, but it's a side-scroller 2D Metroidvania game. And that is Hollow Knight. After trial and error, you finally get the King Soul, and then you gotta go to the Abyss, which is like the middle part of Ancient Bassin. Then you gotta go down, and then you gotta go to this black egg that gives you the Void Heart. You get a cutscene that shows you the Pale King and the Hollow Knight, and it's a long trip, but it's definitely worth it. The Hollow Knight stabs himself just to give himself a power, but would you look at this? Hornet saves the day. You then get put into the mind of the Hollow Knight, and then you got these steps that you have to go up to get to the final step, and it says challenge. When I got to the second boss, I was really shocked because I recognized this boss, and I'll tell you why. Because there was an art piece in a meme compilation that I saw a couple years back that I didn't know what it was, and I didn't know what game it was until I played Hollow Knight. And now that I know that this white fly moth apparently is called the Radiance, I now know what this boss is called. Fighting the Hollow Knight and then fighting the Radiance is one of the hardest endings to achieve in Hollow Knight, and I somehow beated this boss in 1.5 hours. This boss contains 4 phases, and this is just the first phase. And then this is the second phase. Once you hit the final swing to the Radiance, he flops down, that's getting dragged with these black tentacles. Of course, somebody's gonna make a joke about this. You climb up the stairs and you think it's over, but no, check it out. He pops up again. My heart was pounding as I was going on to the third phase, trying to not to get myself hit, but then I started to see some steps up, and I realized that this is the final phase. I see ghosts going up. I gotta go up to every single step to not get hit by the freaking laser. But then as soon as I got to the final step, I finally did it. Thank you guys so much for watching my Hollow Knight video essay. I'm very sorry it took a really long time for me to make, and this might just be my longest edited video of talking about a game that I sincerely enjoy to the fullest. Being made from an indie game development studio, has gained a large community, has gained a fan base with an upcoming sequel that is still in the works. I managed to get 25 out of the 35 trophies on the first playthrough, and to me, I think that's pretty impressive. And it took me a month to beat him. And if you don't believe me, I'm not even joking. Like, this was probably one of the hardest bosses I fought. I beat this game with 101% completion with 105 hours, 8 minutes, and 31 seconds. I also unlocked Steel Soul mode, and it says no shade, no reviving, death is permanent, the ultimate challenge. Yeah, I'm probably not going to do that. Only main reason why is because I wanted to take a break from fighting Grimm, then see if I got the chance, maybe not, maybe if I do, maybe not. And then I got to get the charms, got to get all of the shard masks just to get all the 9 lives that I need to get in order to take more hits and then do more damage to get the right charms. It was a long process, but at the end of the day, I finally got them. And will I do a Hollow Knight retrospective? Hell no. But on a serious note, I don't really think I can do a Hollow Knight retrospective because in the sense that I've spent a long time playing this game, and I'm not that much of a person that does like second playthroughs after I beat it a game. Once I beat it a game, I just leave it there. One of my subscribers, Storterwall, told me in the chat that right after I beat the final boss, he said that maybe you can do a season 2 to Hollow Knight doing the Soul and Shade. And the Soul and Shade trophy is basically the Godmaster DLC. In summary, you're fighting every single boss that you encounter from the previous game to the last game, but it's much more difficult, much more harder, and there's pantheons, and you gotta take your place to the pantheon and stuff like that. Stotaro mentioned that he hasn't been Pantheon 5 because of how difficult it is, and I believe him, because the Godmaster DLC is probably a DLC that I might want to hold on, because I don't know if my blood pressure can take it, and I don't know how much patience, the amount of sanity I have left for me to do a Season 2 for Hollow Knight. While I was doing this video essay, I was thinking if I could do a Season 2. Because, I mean, I might be interested into doing the Godmaster DLC, but I might leave a poll, or I don't know, should I do the Godmaster DLC? I mean, let me know if I should for a Season 2 of Hollow Knight, and even if I do, I'm not going to be good at it. I mean, I know that Hollow Knight Silksong isn't going to be out till like 2032 because of the amount of delays. The game is still in development, apparently, and yeah, man, I guess I might do Season 2, but I got Rain World that I have to finish. I already regretted it when I started playing it. I gotta finish Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, but I saw a lot of support when I played Rain World for the first time, and I guess I'll continue playing it for Hollow Knight Season 2. I'll think about it, but I might do a poll for Hollow Knight Season 2, but you guys let me know, and if it ever does happen, I can't promise a date, but until then, only time will tell.